So if you like porn, then you should probably stop watching this video right now. Click pause, go doom scroll on TikTok, because what I'm about to share is probably gonna turn your porn world upside down. So as someone who has been making porn, particularly gay porn, for almost a decade, I feel like I get to see behind the curtain. And what I see isn't always pretty. And within the last year, I was having a conversation with a very large, unnamed porn company about a possible collaboration. And they told me that they weren't able to move forward because all of their resources were being poured into AI porn. And I kind of paused and thought, and like, well, but people, they want something real, right? And they said, well, porn is already fake and audiences love it, so we're just making it a little bit faker. Is anyone really gonna care? And I thought to myself, well, I do, but let's back up. Because what they said is true. Porn already is fake. And I think this is the part where people get to see how the sausage is made. And it's fake on a number of levels. For example, the hard penises, right? That actually performers are taking literal injections into their penises of Trimex or more recently Bimex so they can stay hard for 4 hours and film a scene. In other instances, performers take Cialis or Viagra, but it's all because there's this expectation in audiences and from studios that models are going to have these unrealistically hard cocks. And of course, it's good to normalize soft penises, but that's not what's gonna happen in porn. There's also a lot of editing tricks that happen. I think a great example of this is the cum shot. If you ever see, a guy ejaculating and then it cuts to his face as he's in, this ecstatic bliss and moaning, that was filmed separately so they could cut it into the edit. I think audiences would also be surprised to know, particularly in my industry, which is gay porn, how many straight performers there are, or at least performers who prefer women over men. And I get the pushback, right? That people are like, well, how can he really be straight if he's having sex with men? And I always say, people do all sorts of things that they don't want to do for money, and having sex with a man is really, no different. And in some instances, you're actually seeing two straight guys together kind of performing gay sex. So what you're seeing is already the illusion of chemistry and pleasure. Though I guess sometimes there is real pleasure and connection even among straight guys, but I guess the illusion that you're seeing is that of desire. And in a market that craves more and more cum, you've seen this proliferation of fake cum in gay porn scenes. That there's a number of ways that people fake it. You can put a tube between their legs and someone blows fake cum through it. They could put cum on their hand and just shake it like it's coming out. There was also this promise that like OnlyFans was gonna be different, that you're seeing an authentic look into these models' lives. That was the promise. And I think OnlyFans ultimately under-delivered on that. And when you watch OnlyFans content now, it's really just like studio porn, just with lower production values. So there becomes this inescapable conclusion that porn always has been, and perhaps even increasingly so, more so now, porn is already fake. So let's talk for a second about AI porn, because you're gonna be seeing more and more of it. If you haven't seen it yet, you will. Right now, a lot of people's erotic AI experience would be through chatbots that are flirty, that people can type with. There's image creation, a lot of still images that are AI generated. Now you're seeing more of the video content as well, and that's clearly the direction in which it will be going. There's also this big kind of industry around non-consensual deepfakes, taking the face, for example, of a celebrity and putting it on a different body, and all the violations around consent and ethics that come up with that. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just the beginning. Eventually, we're going to come to a place where there will be like a Google search box where you can type in whatever it is that you want. If you want to see two 40-foot tall people made out of marshmallows having sex on the top of the Empire State Building with balloons, like, it will happen. But let's back up for a second, because it all begs the question, like, well, what is real anyway? Part of the reason why I created Himeros TV, which is my porn studio, is because I saw, no pun intended, kind of this gaping hole in the gay porn industry where a lot of the content lacked a certain authenticity. I wanted to create porn with real men, with real connections, having real sex, and that's what we've done. And we've done it at great expense of time, of money, of just every resource you can imagine, because it takes hiring the right crew, renting expensive equipment, being selective about models, being intentional about what it is that you film, creating very long-term production schedules. It takes us at least a year to go from conception to release of a filming project. This is all kind of the antithesis of what AI is offering, which is easy, cheap, quick. Personally, I like to see the eye contact. I want to hear a real moan. It's funny because when Himeros TV first launched, we would get nominated for different awards, and it was always like best niche this, best niche studio, best niche that. And I was like, well, what's our niche? Like, good sex, real people? And also, like, at some other level, like, isn't sex already a performance? The way that you hold your body to capture a good angle, or maybe the way that you moan something, or role playing. So I think at some level we have to recognize that, like, sex itself is a dance between authenticity and artifice. That performance and truth are not opposites, but really companions in our erotic experience. So there's no question, there's no doubt that AI porn is going to be absolutely huge. With AI porn, you have infinite novelty. No one's gonna age, people are not gonna retire. You're just gonna have constantly new porn. And doesn't mean, new porn does not mean good porn. Like, it will probably be porn slop. But if you think about how much we have evolved as a society, say even in the last 30 years, and yet our porn is exactly the same, just with higher definition, we're already settling for more of the same. And I think AI porn is just gonna offer more of that. Another reason AI porn is gonna be huge is because you can more safely tackle taboos. A lot of the porn that people consume and crave is quite transgressive, and even, you know, human-made quote-unquote real porn tackles this through like the stepmom and stepbro and all that. But with AI porn, you have the option to, or the possibility of creating taboo porn without actually putting real people and real bodies at risk. And so that could be extreme kinks, it could be incest. I mean, the rabbit hole can go quite deep with this, and it's beyond the purview of this video to really discuss the ethical implications of that. And whatever a perfect body is to you, AI can create that. And I think for a lot of people, that's gonna mean like 10-pack abs, huge penises, giant boobs, whatever it is, AI will amplify already unrealistic expectations. So it's like AI porn can deliver what human porn never could. So none of this obviously is without danger. And I think to look at the dangers of AI porn, you first start with looking at the dangers of the current state of porn. And I say this as a porn producer, that this is an imperfect industry. And I see it as a gay man with expectations that people have around their dicks, right? If all you're being served is hard cock after hard cock, in each video you have an expectation for yourself and for your partner that's also how you should be. And that is not how bodies work. That is not life. That is not realistic. And yet it has created a multi-billion-dollar pharmaceutical industry for people seeking to treat this. With porn is also this expectation that every sexual encounter needs to involve fucking. There's a million ways to connect with a partner beyond penetrative sex. Porn also creates an expectation that every hookup or every sexual experience needs to end in cum, that cum itself is the goal. And it can be. Your goal could be to get off, but it could also be to experience pleasure, to connect with that person, to express your love. And then, you know, things have gotten better lately, I think, in seeing a more inclusive spectrum of sexy bodies in porn, beyond like the six-pack abs. And yet that probably still is 90% of the content that's out there. And so it creates this idea that the only bodies worthy of touch or pleasure or connection are people who look like that. So these are the dangers that already exist. Add on to that AI porn and everything is just amplified. You think bodies are unrealistic now, wait until they're generated by computers. You think we already have issues around intimacy, like how further disconnected from our bodies and our pleasure we will be when what we're seeing on screen isn't human, or how we're basically flattening human sexuality into algorithms. I guess my case for human-made porn is that human sexuality is imperfect, that we are vulnerable, that desire is clumsy, that all of these things actually make our sex quite beautiful. But maybe I am a dinosaur. Maybe I am a vinyl record collector in a world of Spotify. Maybe I am an old man screaming into the void. But what I want, what David Jacques wants, is real connection, real people, and real pleasure. So I guess the big questions that remain are, if porn has always been fake, and if sex itself is a performance, does AI really cross a line, or does it just make the fakery more obvious? And I guess there's this bigger question of if everything can be faked, will what is real become the ultimate kink? AI porn is coming whether or not we want it to. So the real question is, are you gonna be watching it? I'd love to know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, more to come.